And here we are, sans Elaine this time around, which is kind of odd, but it's okay. But we're here for another episode of Comic Book Spectrum. How's it going today, Cliff?
It's going. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine here.
All right. When I was plugging in my cord for my microphone and everything, I
Mhm.
couldn't find it. And
Oh,
I
that's not good.
didn't know where it went, and I realized it had been shut inside the desk drawer. And
That's never good because you don't want a
I,
broken wire or a crimped wire.
yeah, so I'm making sure that you can hear me. Uh, yeah, no, today's been wild. I had to spend the day, or well, the morning, helping my oldest. She got rear-ended last week, and we had to go car shopping today. So
Ooh, that's not
y-
good.
yeah, because she got rear-ended by somebody that didn't have insurance. So
That's even worse.
yeah, yeah.
Hi there.
Um,
There they are. There they are. We got the Sunstrider clan in the house here.
howdy, howdy. But yeah,
Yep.
I wish I could be. I wish I was like her when it came to shopping for cars. We went to the car dealership, and the second car she looked at goes, "I want that one," and that was it. We bought
Yep.
the car. Like, oh,
Oh, you had car ride. Proceed. Yeah.
yeah. Congratulations. Hopefully, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a trip. But that was over with. So, and considering down here today, the heat index was 112. Looking at cars in the car lot was not at the top of my to do list. So,
Nor is all of this rain and stuff we've been getting over this
mm,
past week was not something that to look forward to.
mm,
I like not having to worry about sinuses and allergies.
yeah. So, how's the day been treating you, sir?
I'm surviving here. I'm surviving. I'm kind of happy because it's like lately I've been finding like good sticking points as far as for at least the Thursday show. I
Mm,
mean, like today, the Green Lantern um thumbnail because the Lanterns show is supposed to start soon on HBO Max.
mm,
So I'm kind of looking forward to that because now they're finally bringing John Stewart into live action for DC via television or aka streaming.
mm. I just get a trip out of even in the comics. They seem to always make it a point to make John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kyle, all of them look like so much younger than Hal.
Yep.
And the dude who's playing Hal in the TV show, I mean, he looks like Hal Jordan. I got that's got he's got that going for me. But I was looking at him like, Jesus Christ, you look older than Alan Scott.
Hmm.
You were in World War II. Oh, it's just funny because even back in the 80s, Hal had gray hair had grain on the sides, and
Hmm.
he was always like the creepy old uncle. And I'm like, that's so
Well, I
strange.
understand the gray hair on the sides because again, test pilot, crazy stuff happens, yada yada yada. But you're not supposed to be looking older than Alan Scott.
Hmm.
And then the other thing that I don't like is that they changed his mythos where he's not using the same lantern. His lantern is actually different.
Oh, really? Huh. Well, that's no
I'm talking
fun.
about in comic book canon. In comic book canon,
Hmm.
his lantern was is different now.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant on the show, but oh, okay.
No, whenever they kind of removed him from Green Lantern lore, and I think he's what Sentinel now or something like that, known as Sentinel or something like that.
I think he's back to being a Green Lantern now, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I've only seen bits of the clip of the trailer. I haven't really sat down and watched it because trailers don't really do a lot for me. But every time I'm scrolling through Facebook, I end up seeing the part of the trailer that has Sinestro in it, and he literally looks like they just took an old 1970s porn star and threw some pink at him. I just laugh every time I see him on
Yeah, they are dropping new Spectrum color and more powerful than Icon or the White Lanterns and blah. Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when Scott Snyder took over Justice League after Metal,
Uh,
they introduced the what was the ultraviolet spectrum or whatever. It's like, look, man, there's already like 900 lanterns. We don't need any more colors.
again, I was happy with black.
Hmm.
The Black Lanterns to me are the best lanterns because of the simple fact that they've been through some stuff and they have nothing to lose. All
Hmm.
the game but nothing to lose.
Yeah, I liked that entire Jeff Johns' entire run on Green Lantern up until the New 52. I mean, that was like some of the best comics going at the time. From Green Lantern Rebirth, where Hal went from being the Spectre back to being a Green Lantern,
Mm-hmm.
all the way through Blackest Night, and for a little bit into Brightest Day. And Green Lantern was like the best comic. I still go back and pull out my
It was
issues
the
of it.
best story going.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was weird because that was so good, and then after Jeff Johns left, didn't have that same magic. Well, hello there, first time watcher.
Oh, we got a brand new watcher. We got Gene here. Gene saying good evening, everyone. First time watcher.
Don't be
Hopefully you're
scared.
having a good
We're
evening and everything. We're talking about the main topic right now, which is the Lantern
mm,
series that's coming out in Green
yeah,
Lantern itself.
yeah, and I'm looking forward because I liked it. I like what I always did like Green Lantern. Um, and Jeff's run on it was so great. It was just so strange to me that his magic went with him from JSA to Green Lantern to when he was like in between Mark Wade and I'm trying to remember who the other writer was. He had a run on Wally West Flash that was really good.
Oh,
And his
yeah.
team,
I want to say that was after they restarted it.
mm, no, because there for a little while
It
he
was,
wrote
it
it
was,
was
it was, it, I don't think it was during Rebirth. It was just before Rebirth.
this was way before even the New 52. Right after Mark
Right.
Wade's run, he wrote it for a little while because
Yep.
he was writing it around the time of Identity Crisis.
He wrote it
And,
just, I think he just wrote it just before, I want to say, what was it called? Not Salvation Run.
final,
Leading all the way up to the supposed death
yeah,
of Wally.
yeah. So and it was really good, but something about when he jumped on Barry Allen with Flash Rebirth, it didn't have that same magic anymore. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was
It's Barry.
burnout because of the fact, yeah, it was Barry, and it's like Barry's just not interested. But yeah, what he did with Green Lantern uh really made I think that added was one of the big driving forces to DC's resurgence in the early 2000s of being back to being, this is a place where we write really big, epic superhero stories.
Again, he brought back people to read Aquaman. Jeff Johns
Yeah,
brought me back
his
to
Aquaman was really good. Yeah.
Aquaman was a throwaway character, and then I remember one of my good friends was like, "Yeah, I gotta get the next Aquaman." It's like Jeff Johns is doing his thing, and I read a couple of those Jeff Johns. I was like, "Yeah, I can understand why." Still not a big fan of the character, but I understand why people love what he was writing here.
Hmm.
Why can't I remember the
Um,
name of that? Because it dealt with the Rogues Gallery. Somebody broke the unofficial spoken code of the story that Jeff Johns was like. Somebody broke the unspoken code for the Rogues in Flash,
mhm,
and Wally ended up dying because of it.
right. But he was only dead for like 5 minutes.
Right.
No, but yeah, it was it was really good. And it was weird because right after Johns left Flash, before he came back when Barry was there, man, they had Grant Morrison write Flash for a little while. That, that was weird. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's like,
He Grant wrote Flash like the way that he writes most other things here.
mm-hmm,
He may know lore, but he's gonna try to finagle it
mm-hmm,
in such a way where it's gonna be like, oh, you're never going to think about the powers this way ever again.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know. It was just there's just some things. It's like his voice doesn't fit with, and his flat. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's like this is really odd. This this is like if they took Wally and dropped him in Vertigo for a little while. This is really
Well,
weird.
it's more like they took Wally, and then all of a sudden Wally is now in Doom Patrol. That's what it felt like. He's no longer the Flash. He's something other than Flash.
Yes, that
And
is.
Wally is using his power in such a way that it doesn't make sense.
Mhm. Yes, that is it. That is a perfect analogy. It was like Doom Patrol Wally West. You're correct. Yeah, and I mean, again, I'm not saying it was bad. It was good, but yeah, it's just it wasn't. It's like this isn't. This would have worked better with a different Flash. um,
it
but
probably
yes,
it probably would have worked better with Bart.
yeah, yeah, it would
No,
probably work
no,
a lot better.
no, Impulse. We're talking about Impulse.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I wish it never saw the light of day, but they're apparently in the green. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's true. Barry, I mean, Barry was more interesting dead than he was alive, and that's and when I was younger, the Flash was my favorite superhero. Is Barry was more interesting dead than he was alive. But
But
during the early '90s up until the all the way through the mid 2000s, early 2000s, there was a push at DC. They were going to try and bring back a lot of the JSA characters as Vertigo characters because they're like Sandman Mystery Theater were great. And they did like a one shot or a two-issue miniseries of Our Man that got over really well. And I can't remember the creator, but there was a pitch for Jay Garrick to have his own Vertigo title,
that would
a
be
Vertigo Flash. And I don't think it ever got past the pitch stage, but I would love to get my hands on whatever the pitch was. I bet that would have been very interesting.
I'm still kind of upset here because as many times I hear people is like I'm a fan, I'm a Flash fan, and I'm up here it's like, but I'm on the bandwagon. It's like, you know what? They should have never treated Wally in the books the way that they did. They should have never tried to kill him off in the first place.
No, I mean, I'll be honest, I am super biased towards the big three from Teen Titans: Nightwing, Donna Troy, and Wally West.
I could care
Because
less about Donna.
I loved I love Donna, but Donna fell victim to what do you do with this character now that we rebooted Wonder Woman again?
No, they never
But
truly established Donna as a character. Donna was she's either a clone. She's a clone. She's a younger version of Diana. No, she's a clone. No, she's this. No, now she's another type of entity. No, they always rebooted the character
mhm,
and they never truly established Donna as herself.
yes, but
I would have been
I,
happy if they would have gave her kind of like the whole Drusilla treatment on the TV show. Because technically Drusilla is supposed to have been Wonder Girl on the television show.
mhm, right, right, yeah.
And it
I don't
probably
know.
would have fit better because that way it would have been a smoother transition between Donna to Cassie.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I always liked those three characters. I always felt like they were like the outside of if Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman was the Trinity for the origin for DC. the next generation of those three was Dick, Wally, and Donna. And so I have a soft spot
Yep.
for those characters. And when Wally took over the Flash, it was like this is somebody growing up with me.
Mhm.
So I got a soft spot for Wally. But yeah, they should have just left him alone and not worried about bringing Barry back. I mean, Wally was the Flash longer than Barry was the Flash by the time they brought Barry back. You know, just kind of like Barbara Gordon was Oracle longer than she was Batgirl when they finally decided to make her Batgirl again.
Right,
it's
that is true. But the thing about with the whole thing with Wally, and I wish more people would give Wally credit. Wally evolved being Flash to a degree that nobody else can truly touch it, per se.
hmm
And that's the one thing, the reason why I'm up here is like, why are you bringing back Barry? It's like Barry cannot do the stuff that Wally could.
no,
Wally is if what they truly wanted to have happen with the Justice League. He literally replaced his mentor.
right.
You can't go back on that.
hmm hmm
Plus, I was also got invested in his story arc about his kids and his
Yeah,
kids being a part of the Speed Force and how he's going to eventually train them to use the Speed Force. That part I was looking forward to, and ready to chomp at the bit for that, for that Flash story.
hmm Um, Jeff Johns wanted everything to be like when he was. Um, well, see, the problem was the Wally West Flash story to make him the best was done by Mark Wade. It's already happened.
Mark Wade gave made him do some just astonishing things
Mhm.
that never that no other Flash can do.
But from what I've always heard, it wasn't so much Jeff with bringing all the characters, all the Silver Age characters back. It was Dan DiDio
Uh-huh.
because he's like nobody knows these other characters. The reason nobody knows these other he thought that was because he didn't know these other characters because his experience with DC Comics stopped at the Super Friends. So that was more him. Um,
Yep.
I'm sure Jeff had a little bit to do with it. Um, I did not know this about Dan DiDio until I got on one of my weird deep dive kicks and I started rewatching Transformers Beast Wars.
Hmm.
I did not know that Dan's company that he ran before he joined DC was the one who created Beast Wars. And his entire concept was we want something completely different with no connection to the old continuity. It's like you've been doing this one trick pony your entire career, man. And then what happened was what it wasn't even by the end of the first season they established that the old continuity still existed. It's like you can't help yourself, man. So,
Again,
so
they couldn't get rid of it because if they did, they would have been like, well, this is alternate reality. This is a different universe. They couldn't do that because then the Matrix would have not made sense.
mhm.
The whole
I mean, they even
concept of the spark would not make sense.
right, but I mean, they even went so far as they showed that they were on Earth during the time the Autobots and Decepticons were deactivated
Right.
because I've got a thing about I've started collecting all the different versions of Optimus Prime, and Optimus Prime was my favorite because his beast when he's a beast he's a big monkey, and when he transforms into his robot, the monkey's butt cheeks become rocket launchers on his shoulders, and that's just hilarious to me.
Hmm.
Um, but when they upgraded him in the show, he had Optimus Prime's spark in him. So I was like, you couldn't even go one season without bringing the original cast back and making them important to this. And then he did the same thing when he went to DC. Oh, but yeah, I did not know that until recently when I got on a trend. It was after I started reading the IDW Transformers and I got on a deep dive about all the shows that I found out about Dan and Beast Wars. So
Yeah, and to be quite honest, like I have a lot of friends that are Transformers fans. Like I already told them up front, I was never a big fan of Beast Wars. I liked it, but I wasn't a big fan of it. I like Beast Machines better because that truly, and again, like you said, they had to go back to the original. It linked the two together.
Mhm.
Beast Machines linked the two together.
Yeah, I have it on DVD. I haven't watched it yet, but I have after season one of Beast Wars,
Uh-huh.
the Japanese company like went in their own direction, and the Japanese version of Beast Wars and Beast Machines is so weird. I'm gonna have to sit down and watch it one day because I've seen some clips of it. I'm like, man, this makes no sense. I don't even know what I'm watching. Uh, I'm gonna have to sit down and watch it because apparently at one point it becomes like your standard Ultraman type show with Transformers.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I've got to sit down and watch this. This might be something. So one
Well,
day I will actually get to watch it and I'll have to come on here and talk about it. But yeah,
it's
it looks like a trip. I can't wait to watch it.
well, it comes back down to like Beast Machines. I could equate it to pretty much this. It was more or less break in and break out of Cybertron, except
Hmm.
it's not that easy because technically Megatron is almost equivalent to Unicron now. He actually is the
Hmm.
planet. Cyber
Yeah,
He is actually the planet of Cybertron. He literally connected himself to everything that controls Cybertron because
yeah, and I,
he controls the ultimate spark.
yeah. My biggest problem with Beast Machines was the animation was so weird on it.
Hmm.
But
I agree.
I mean that the story was pretty good. And when they revealed spoilers for a 30-year-old show, when they revealed that Rhinox was one of the bad guys
Hmm.
and he chose to be, that caught me off guard as even as an adult. So I was like, "Yeah, okay, I did not see that coming. That's pretty cool." I just wish they would have used somebody besides Rhinox because I liked him.
Well, the way that they framed the portrayal was brilliant, but
Hmm.
like I said, it just I don't know what else to really say one way or the other.
Yeah,
But
and
getting
yes.
back to the ultimate point here is that I'm kind of looking forward to really watching that Lantern series.
Hmm. I'm going to give it a try. I have given a try to most of the DC shows that they've brought out under DC Studios, with the exception of Titans. Um, so I will give this one a try. I'm not.
We need to talk about Titans because I remember the big fallouts, how people claim it was bad. Titans wasn't bad. It wasn't what people wanted.
No, no. My biggest problem with Titans was I did not like the fact that it literally looked like they had two different studios doing the costume design
Yep.
because you would
Yeah,
have
that
like,
was one thing. People didn't like the production of it.
and um I did not like that opening scene where it was Dick Grayson. He said "F Batman." Like now that's not Dick Grayson. That's Jason Todd. That would have been a Jason line. But yeah, my biggest
No,
problem.
I couldn't say that. I couldn't say that. There was a time where Dick Grayson would have said F Batman, and that's when he first went to Bloodhaven. When he
Yeah,
first broke out on his own and he was like, I'm going to Bloodhaven.
right. I could see that. But
And that's the way that I took it. But I hate the fact that they made him an ultimate dick in this show.
yeah,
And when I
that
say ultimate
wasn't
dick,
Dick
he was
Grayson.
not a likable character in this show.
No,
By no means he was likable.
yeah. So that I was not a fan of that. But overall, most of their shows I've given a try to. So I will give um Lanterns a try also.
I try to
Um
think which shows I haven't watched. I know I haven't watched Peacemaker as of yet. People like Peacemaker, but Peacemaker doesn't seem to me like a decent show. I watched all of Harley Quinn. That's hilarious. Kite Man, hell yeah, that to me was like, you know what, you got to be in the right mood to watch that. It to me, it was not a great spinoff, but it makes for good
Joe, I've
TV
lost you.
watching if you
Hold
don't
on a
have
second.
anything else to do. It's not bad, but it's not good. I just finished the rest of all the Young Justice here. I'm still trying to finish up on the last couple of episodes of the Young Justice, the hidden seasons that they didn't show. I think the only thing that's really left is just Titans, not Titans. I watched all the Titans, the Lantern series. But Titans is just like I only like Titans for a couple of reasons. One, the storytelling was there. I hate Dick Grayson in this series, but something tugged my heart when they dealt with Raven. And they painted Raven the correct way. She was really literally not good or not bad, but she didn't understand what she was until like the very end. And why everything was happening to the end. I think I just lost Cliff here. Cliff has just exited the studio. So something must have happened. Oh no, here he is. He's back. Technical difficulties. He was having
Can you hear me
technical
now?
difficulties.
Yes.
And the
And now
mic.
I'm
There's the sound. Yep, you're there.
okay. Um, yeah, I don't know what happened, but you were talking and then all of a sudden you weren't talking anymore. I was like,
No,
I could
I
see
was
his
like,
lips
I was
moving.
talking to you, all of a sudden you went poof. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I had to leave the studio and come back in because yeah, I saw you were talking, but I was like, I know whatever he's saying is really important because he's got that look on his face, but I don't know what it was.
No,
So
I was just saying it's like I think I saw every last DC show that I needed to watch here that was so-called popular. I was just listening to them
mm,
down the line. The Harley
uh,
Quinn, the Kite Man, Doom Patrol. That's the other one that I have to finish. I have to finish Doom Patrol.
I've yet to watch Kite Man. I want to.
Kite
It's
Man,
just Kite Man and Harley Quinn fall in that category of shows I have to watch when I have time to watch them alone, and there's no such thing as that. So they're on the back burner. But I've seen the first 3 seasons of Harley Quinn, and I
yeah.
enjoyed it. So I want to watch Kite Man.
Yeah, you need to see the end of Harley. The end of Harley is messed up. It's really, 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 really is messed up, but it was funny all the way through the end. And then Kite Man to me is like one of those shows that if you don't have anything else to watch, you can enjoy it.
Mm,
I
okay.
mean, it's not
Well,
bad, but it's not good. And to me, it was just like, okay, why did you make this a spinoff?
mhm,
To me, it's
yeah.
like this should have been a spinoff. And then the fact that he ended up being with Golden Glider was another
Golden
thing, and they talked about her other power that she has.
mm, Golden Glider gets around, man, because she was with Captain Boomerang and Barry Allen for like 5 minutes.
Well, you know who her brother is, right?
Yeah, Captain Cold.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kite Man and her are together, and it was just interesting. It was just interesting in that aspect that Kite Man got a spinoff series. I don't see it going beyond this one series. Ooh, okay. I don't see it going beyond this one series, but it was an interesting
Mm,
watch here. And I was trying to finish up talking about Titans. About
mhm.
I liked it in one aspect. I liked the way that they was telling the story about Raven and how Raven's story tugged on your heartstrings to a certain degree.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
what's it, I haven't watched Titans because I cannot get past. It's like, man, Robin's costume looks so awesome. Hawk and Dove looks so awesome. What happened to Starfire and Beast Boy? I just have
well,
not been able to get past
Beast
it.
Boy, Beast Boy, I kind of figured that they would not going to spend the money on Beast Boy because that's a lot. That's a lot of money. And then when they went the whole mafia route for Starfire, it's like, yeah, this is going to fit. This is going to fit. They really trying to change Starfire to something that she's not.
Hmm. Yeah, now, like I
And
said,
like Starfire is not. She can be ruthless, but she's normally not.
No.
the end has to justify the means, and they just try to, from the jump, they try to, make her like this overbearing, calculated mafia chick. And I'm like, nah, this doesn't work. It
No.
doesn't work, but it works for the series.
Yeah, it's like there's the way they portrayed Starfire in Teen Titans, the original cartoon, and then the way that they portrayed her in Titans. And like the real comic character is actually somewhere in between both of those. And
Mhm.
it's like they didn't want to take that middle ground. Um, but yeah,
It
I
would
don't
have
know.
been
I
so
never
much. It would have been so much easier.
yeah. Now I did admit I got really upset when they announced Titans with like I've said it on here before, all that nonsense about the actress they had to play Starfire. It's
Mhm.
like I don't care that she's African American. I care
Like you
about the
said
fact her
before, where it was like, tell me where we're going to find a orange skinned chick around here.
exactly. My complaint was not the fact that she was not an orange skinned alien. My complaint was it looked like she got her costume from amateur hour at the bad strip club in town. That was my complaint.
But that's the way that they did her, because it's like she came to Earth, and the first place that she lands is a mafia strip joint.
Um,
It's like
okay.
out of all places that she could end up on Earth, she landed right there at the doorstep of this one big ass mafia hit, business of operation, which was this one bar slash strip club. You take over a persona of one of the bottom bitches that the main bad guy bad guy of the mafia was, and you end up killing him.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
explanation, no exposition of why. It's just like, okay, fine. She comes up, walking up in there, she sees that he was no good. He treated her bad, this, that, the other. Dead. She takes over. I was like, that's not right. It's like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. You try to make her, kind of like a badass off the bat. That you're not going to be like, oh, she's not the soft, kind-hearted, Starfire that we know from the books or for the cartoon series. You're going to make her kind of like a viable adult character.
right.
This is not the way you do it.
Yeah.
There was a middle ground.
Hmm. Yeah,
But it's
I
funny.
just
It's like, okay, the first person she kissed happened to be somebody that was part of the mafia, and then she learned everything about Earth through the mob. It's like, this is not going to end up well.
I mean, yeah, that's
Jim
one way
Shooter
to
is
do it.
better than Dan Dido, despite obvious handicaps of being dead.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There are apparently some people who worked at Marvel under the Jim Shooter reign who may not agree with you on that one. But I always liked Jim Shooter. Jim Shooter tripped me out because he got a job in the comic book industry when he was like 10 years old and never left.
Right.
Um, and because of him, if it was because if he didn't leave DC and went to Marvel when he did, there's a high chance that a lot of the X-Men characters would have been Legion of Superhero characters.
Yep.
That that is always that just fascinates me. The idea of Nightcrawler and Storm being Legion of Superhero characters.
Just like Galactus would have been in New Gods.
Would he?
Galen would have been in New Gods. Because Curry was going to bring New Gods to Marvel
Hmm.
before he left.
Okay.
That was the direction that he was trying to go into, dealing with Silver
Mhm.
Surfer.
Okay. Because I know the Eternals were basically the new gods when he brought when he brought that back to Marvel.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I guess that kind of works because if you really look at it, the new gods were what he wanted to do with Thor and all of them. Oh, hmm. Galactus is a new god. That would have probably been very interesting.
And I still stick by the project that Elaine and I pitched here. Did you watch that episode?
I'm trying to remember. I know y'all mentioned it to me, but my memory is so bad. I don't know if I watched it or not. Where Granny Goodness took over for Darkseid.
What if Granny Goodness was able to kill Darkseid,
Yeah,
that elf world?
yeah. All right,
Because
we y'all
I brought up
mentioned it.
to Elaine, what actually happened in the Female Furies miniseries, that
Hmm.
6 issue miniseries, and looking at the history of Gretchen Good, aka Granny Goodness. She's the only one that knows Darkseid's true form. Everybody else sees his construct. She knows what
Hmm.
Darkseid really looks like.
Right.
So it's kind of like one of those things. It's like out of all the people that Darkseid that has on his side, the one that gets his ear the most is Granny,
Hmm.
and it's for a reason.
Right.
So we kind of, was putting two and two together, and we came up with the project. It's like, what if Granny Goodness did take out Darkseid, the person that just is?
Hmm.
What would happen if she truly took over Apocalypse and was able to kill Darkseid? Would the mentality that had happened, and would she allow the things of the past to continue,
Hmm.
including the things such as misogyny and all the other stuff that was going on in Apocalypse? That was one of the things that got brought up in the Female Furies miniseries, and why
Now,
Barter was so important to her.
what year was the miniseries we're talking about? Because there's been more than one, hasn't there?
No, it's
Or am
only
I
been
thinking?
one miniseries. Now, the thing that most people talk about is that Jack Kirby planned on doing a Female Fury series and never did. He never did.
A
So
Jack
that,
Kirby Female Fury series.
yes, and he so, well, actually, people found like the storyboards and all the other stuff for stuff like that. They actually saw the drawings and stuff for the Female Furies and the sample covers that he was proposing, but they never got it off the ground. DC canned it.
That would have been interesting, but I don't know if it would have been as good as some people might have thought it would be because I'm just looking at it from Jack Kirby. It was very, very creative and very imaginative, but Jack Kirby was also very much a product of his time. So I don't know how well him writing an all-female book would go for
I,
that
it
reason.
and that's the reason why I'm up here kind of concerned. It was 2019, by the way.
2019. Okay.
I mean, it's for 2019. I think it could have worked, but the thing about it is, Jack Kirby on an all female book would have caused some problems more so
Mhm.
than anything. Because when I look at how he wrote Barda back in the Mr. Miracle days, I think he would have wrote a lot of the other characters that was in the Furies similarly. I
Mhm.
can see him writing Stompa the same way, Lashina similar to the other two. I don't think there would have been any, if I could say, stand out a lot of standout characters
Right.
in his writing of Female Furies.
Right. Because again, Jack Kirby was very talented, and we would not have a lot of the things in comics we have today without him. But all you have to do is look at Superman pals Jimmy Olsen and him writing the Newsboy Legion to understand he was a product of his time.
Hmm.
Because all you gotta do is look at that poor member of the Newsboy Legion. What was his name? Flippa Dippa. That was that was some just copy and paste stereotype African American at the time, right there. um,
That's tough because now you brought that up. It's like, man, why now all of a sudden my mind flipped all the way over to like uh My Life with Superman, that cartoon series, and they made Flipper Dipper female.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, Flipper Dipper is female in that series. Did you know that?
No, I haven't seen. That's the one that's on. Is it on Cartoon Network?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. They're fixing to do a. I heard they're going to do a spinoff of that series. I don't remember what though. I just saw it when I was scrolling the other day.
Yeah, but that's like, wow, you brought up that name. I was like, then it clicked. It's like, no wonder I didn't think that it was the same character because they made that character female.
Mm-hmm. No, he was just a cut and paste. This is an African American at the time child. I was like, wow. I understand it was the time, but wow.
But then again,
Not
it's
as
like
bad.
I look at it from this standpoint. It's like he never truly wrote dialogue. He never, like I said, he was a creator of his time here. That's the reason why Black Panther worked, but I don't see him working on any other character
Mhm.
that's African American. Just like I don't see him doing very well with team books. He got lucky with Fantastic Four when it came to team books.
Mhm. Now, as much as I do not believe the rewritten history of Marvel Comics where Stan Lee was the end all be all of everything, Fantastic Four worked so well because of Jack Kirby's imagination and Stan Lee's ability to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. So I'm like, because man, Eternals is a hard read when it's just Jack writing that many characters by himself. Um, and I like the Eternals, but yeah, Stan's contribution is fantastic to Marvel can really be seen in those old Fantastic Fours for that reason alone.
Despite the notes that he put in the margins,
Hmm.
that's the thing that just drives me up the wall. It's like technically Kirby created the Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah.
Stan just polished the dialogue,
Hmm.
and that's the reason why it worked.
Yeah, and it did, and there was a lot of because I mean, and again, I'm not knocking any past creators, but there was in those early Fantastic Fours and those early Journey into Mysteries with Thor and Asgard, there was I don't know any other word, just this feeling of wonder and imagination that Kirby had on the books. That when he left, as hard as Stan tried, it wasn't the same. And so it's like without what the two of them together created magic. But I don't know if there was enough of the magic left with just Stan outside of Fantastic Four. Because I'm sorry, I know some people will get upset because Stan Lee's like the end all be all, but those early Spider-Man books, they're hard to read. I mean, they're to me they are hard to read. When
That's
Stan
because
left,
Stan wouldn't leave Dick go alone.
hmm and when Stan left and other writers took over, it became an easier read.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not knocking what Stan Lee did, but he needed a really strong collaborator to bring his visions out. Because when he was on his own, it's like, man, this is hard.
Well, that was the whole thing. The reason why I was going to bring up my example about Kirby. If Kirby had Stan, do you want to know what book would have been the best top seller ever
Hmm.
on DC side? If Kirby had Stan backing him up on a DC book, you
Superman's
really
girlfriend,
want to
Lois
know what would
Lane.
have been the number one top seller?
What?
It would have been Commandi, the last boy on Earth. Commandi is a hard read, but man, the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that he put him through,
Mm-hmm.
the way that he described the the apocalyptic Earth at that time.
Mm-hmm.
If he had somebody better to polish up the dialogue and everything,
Yeah.
Marvel would have been in trouble.
Yeah, you're right. You know, people think about Kirby at DC, and all they really think about is the New Gods. But yeah, he did Commanding, and he also did OMAC, which that
He did,
that
yeah, he did
knowledge.
Olmec, he did Commandi, he did Mr.
Mhm,
Miracle,
mhm.
Forever People.
Yeah, Fourth World.
Forever People, everybody loved Forever People. It's like, you know what? If there wasn't a Orion, Forever People would have flopped.
Hmm.
He did several issues of what we call it, Challengers.
Yeah, Challengers. Challengers of the Unknown to me is one of those underrated comic teams that they need the right person to take over. It would be a big hit.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, he did Challengers. But yeah, people just think about the New God stuff.
If he
For
had
better or worse.
Stan for Commandi would have been a
Yeah.
Spider-Man killer.
Hmm. That would be interesting. Hmm. The Tiger People would be very, very different if Stan was writing them.
Yeah. Yeah, but but again, people would have fell over and
Hmm.
loved this title a lot more.
Yeah, yeah. Damn, Joe. Now you need to write the what if of that. That's what I want to see.
The What If of Commandi.
Yeah, that's what I want
I
to
have to
see.
go back and reread all of them then.
Hmm.
And I have
Now
to
I do think it was.
I have to know, I have to like really study it because I never collected Commandi as a series.
I
It's not
think
like
I've got.
Mr. Miracle. I was like, yeah, I could pretty much go back and reference it and write that in my sleep. But
Hmm.
Commandi, not so much.
Yeah.
Forever People, I haven't completed my Forever People collection, but I kind of do that. But then again, I just got the Hunger Dogs, and my feelings about the Hunger Dogs is like I hate. It's like that graphic novel made me hate Orion as a character.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, that's another thing. When Jack left DC, left Marvel, went to DC, and then went back to Marvel, and then he left Marvel again, and they put him on the Superpowers comic, which is the Super Friends,
Hmm.
and it that was, man, they just like, all right, you do whatever you want to, because there was some wild stuff in those books. Because I was at the age that mom bought a lot of those for me, because it's like, oh, you have the toys, you want to read the book? It's like, you didn't look at this before you gave this to me. But yeah, his and the Hunger Dogs came right after that. So it's like that was wild time. And then he finally just gave up on comics and went to Hollywood. Um yeah, the Superpowers was that was interesting. Any of you youngsters out there who've never read it, I'm pretty sure if you go to comic store you can find the entire run in the 50-cent bin. But it's interesting.
And there's two runs of it. There's two runs of
Mhm.
Superpowers. There's the 6 issue mini, and then the I forgot how long the second volume ran.
Yeah, like I didn't realize this, but the oh man, I always get their names mixed up. The Guardians of the Globe, or no, the Global Guardians, where
Uh-huh.
Fire and Ice came from, they started in the Super Friends comic.
Really?
Yes.
Before we got what we call it, international, because I can't remember,
Hmm.
they came over in international. They just popped up
Hmm.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, they apparently started in the 1970 Super Friends book.
Oh
I had
wow.
no idea. I just read that somewhere and I was like, huh. So yeah, that's y'all's useless fact of the day, kids. But
Well, like I said, I'm happy that the Starfire that everybody knows and loves is not the Starfire that was in the original DC universe before they revamped her.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yeah.
though I like the space opera aspect of the original Starfire series,
Mm-hmm.
it was good, but it's not the same character.
No. Um, I did the other day when I was reading some comics, and there's something that's not around nowadays that I forgot how much I missed. The one-off villain.
Okay. I'm about to get ready to show it. I'm about to get ready to show it. The
The
one thing that's missing in
one-off
comics today is thought bubbles.
that too. But no, the one-off villain. Like I was reading it was an issue of Batman Family, and it was when they had the Man Bat backup tales in it. And he was fighting a villain named Snafu, Snafu. And his gimmick was his suit produced light and sound that annoyed people enough that they went away, and he could just rob stuff. And I was like, we need more villains like this that just show up for one issue, no one
It's
ever
like
sees
what?
them.
It's like what is your super villainy ability? My ability is that I have the ultimate deterrent built into my suit. Therefore, people run away from me, and I can do whatever I want.
Yes. Or like, and I was so sad to find out he was not a one-off villain, but Humbug from Web of Spider-Man.
That's another one.
I was so sad when I found out they brought him back and he actually had like a redemption arc and all this. I was like, this was a dude who was in his pajamas with a Sony Walkman as his weapon. Why are we doing so much with him? He was perfect the way he was. Yes, I miss the one-off villains. There was just something so much fun about it. Like Batman's giant penny. That originally came from a one-off villain no one saw since the 1940s.
Yep.
They need to bring that back. I miss one-off villains and just weird villains, like for no reason to be weird.
Yes.
Like Ultra, the multi-alien, or the what was it, the plant animal mineral man from the Doom Patrol. We
Oh
need
yeah.
more characters like this.
I thought
Not
he
every
came
character.
back. I thought he came back at once.
I'm pretty sure he did, but there is never we don't have any equivalent to that nowadays. There is no equivalent to that level of what were you on when you made this, and I think we're missing that.
Multi-man and multi-woman in DC.
Yeah, I think the
Well,
closest.
more so multi-woman. We don't see her
Mhm.
anymore.
No, no. I think the closest to a wacky villain now was when Scott Snyder made Mr. Bloom in Batman, and he's like, this is just odd, but we need more characters like that.
Mhm.
I miss just the random. Where did this person come from? And they don't have to come back. We just need them out there for like one story arc, and that's it. I miss that, and I'm old.
No,
So
it's not old. It's just like no. It kind of makes sense. It's like in a way those one shot stories where like this villain got talent type auditions. But
yeah.
there was other villains that I kind of wish that they left, left alone. But yeah, there were some that just never panned out.
Mm-mm. No, and we need more of that. I mean, you don't need heroes like that, I think, because then it's like, I think it takes away a little bit from being the idea of the superhero. And when you have like one-off characters that just show up and you never see them again, or they die or whatever. But it's okay to have a one-off villain because that first-time offender who gets busted robbing the grocery store and goes to jail for a little while and reforms. It's okay to have a bad guy that just shows up and then you never see him again. I really
Or
wish they do more with that.
a bad guy that shows up and then 30 years later he shows up in somebody else's book
Yes.
as a one-off where he's like either evolved a little bit or regressed.
Hmm. Yes, I mean one of the best examples of a one-off character that went away and then that came back
Hmm.
and they did a lot that they made magic with him is Deadshot.
Hmm.
Because Deadshot was a one-off. Curl your mustache. I'm dressed up like a cowboy villain in Batman, and then they brought him back in the Bronze Age, and he was the Floyd Lawton everyone knows now. That was not
Hmm.
Will Smith. Um, yeah, he was a one. He was just a one-off. They had a lot of one-offs back then, in the '40s. But yeah, you can do that too. You can have one and never touch him again. Then somebody comes along and knocks the dust off of them, and you got a new villain. A villain you can use more often.
Right.
So,
They just, either they say it's like, we could see if this works now. It's like we saw that this kind of worked. Let's tweak it and see if it works now.
yeah, or I'm using too many Batman examples, but they're just easier a lot of times. Black Mask.
Yep.
The Black Mask we have today is not the Black Mask that showed up in the '80s. Um, so yeah, you can do that still. Uh, there are plenty of more characters out there. Um,
Again, I'm still waiting for like a Falcone to come back and
mhm,
take over Gotham. It's like you did not deal too much with the Maronis and the Falcones in the way that they should have done.
mhm,
They're like in the background. I was like, how are they going to be in the background in Gotham City in a Batman story? These
right.
are big time mafia factions. They just
Mhm.
don't pop up and go away.
Well, when they tried to get the further away we get from Batman the detective, the less of that you're going to have because you have more Jokers and more Rachel Ghouls, and which I'm all for. I like all those characters. I'm not knocking them, but there is a whole side of the Batman rogues gallery that they just completely ignore that doesn't work if it's the Batman we have now that can take down Superman and he can do, with enough prep time he can beat anybody.
But that's the
You
reason
lose that.
why you have to have enough prep time because again, when you're dealing with the Maronis and the Falcones, and this is the reason why they need to bring them back.
Hmm.
And I see this in other comic book series. We have families that has that type of resource like he does. Who to
Hmm.
say that they cannot recreate another villain for their side? Who to say
Right,
that they cannot create the next superhuman on their
right.
side to
Um,
fight as a Falcone or as a Maroni?
Now I
Again, if it wasn't for the
maybe
Falcones and the Maronis, we would have never had the world's greatest detective that if you give him enough prep time, he could figure out how to beat everything. They were the reasons for that.
I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say this, but I may be because I've not read every Bat book that's been written.
Me neither. So I'm just speaking
I
just in general.
I think the last time you saw any member of the Falcone family was when they brought back Harvey Dent's ex-wife in the books, and she was married to one of the Falcones, which made no sense if you ever read The Long Halloween.
Mhm.
Um, but I want to say that was the last time I remember seeing the Falcones in a Batman book, where she came back, and I'm pretty sure it was that time right before the New 52 when Dick and Damian were Batman and Robin. That was when it happened. Um, but as far as I know, that was the last time they brought. I've seen them in there. If I'm wrong again, please correct me. I'd love to go find them. But I think that was it. And again, that story made no sense because after the Long Halloween, why would she be with any member of that family?
Again, one of the reasons why I love Flashpoint. Because people don't realize in Flashpoint that wife, or in this case, ex-wife, eventually was the Two-Face of that universe.
Hmm.
And it's a lot of stuff that just made so much better sense in Flashpoint with Thomas
Hmm.
Wayne.
Yeah.
Thomas Wayne feeling the way that he does because of the loss of his son. And
Hmm.
because of the loss of his son, him and his wife, and Martha split. Not only did they just split, he became Batman and she became Joker.
Yep.
I was like, this makes a lot more sense about, what, drama and trauma does to a family.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought that, Oswald would have been his Alfred Pennyworth in this universe?
Right. And I love the fact that they brought back the outsider, the evil Alfred in
Uh-huh.
Flashpoint. That and that was written by James Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
That was that and the Canterbury Cricket were the best things to me in Flashpoint. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, yeah, there was a lot they could have done in the Flashpoint continuity with the Bat mythos, but there was not a lot they could do with a lot of the other characters, the way they just drastically changed them. Like there was only so much story you could tell with that version of Wonder Woman or that version of Aquaman.
but not with Batman. Batman has a
Batman was
hell of a lot of stories here. And I, I,
yeah.
I love the 2 pages that they did. It's like Thomas versus one true Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how they explain how he felt.
Mm-hmm.
Superman hit him one time. It's like, I can't take this again. If he hits me again, I'm dead. He will break a rib. He will break a leg. He will puncture my lung. I cannot absorb another shot. So there's one or two ways I'm going to get out of this. Either I'm going to talk him out of it, or I'm just dead. I
Yep.
got to talk him down, or I'm just dead. And he was able to talk him down.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's Batman. That's a
Mm-hmm.
true Batman. Now I gotta go. Not I'm gotta go find some kryptonite. This, that, the other. It's like he's like, this man faster than me, stronger than me. Might be a little, might be on his up and up as far as intelligence, but I ain't going to test this man. I gotta make it the most logical argument possible for him to leave me alone.
Right.
That's how Thomas worked.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, he was the only one. Batman was the only one you could keep telling stories with from Flashpoint.
Mhm.
All the rest of them is like
Well, they were all niche type stories. They was all too interwoven
mm-hmm.
because again, Wonder Woman and Themyscira was so tied into the Atlanteans because they were at war with one another.
Right.
And they never explained truly why they was at war, other than the fact that it's like, oh yeah, Wonder Woman was Arthur's side piece, and Mira didn't like it, and because they
Mm-hmm.
got into a cat fight, Diana kills Mira, and now they're at war. Like, huh?
Right. I don't remember all of it, but it was something like Ocean Master set that all up where Wonder Woman and Mira ended up fighting, which led to the war or something like that. But
Well, yeah, Ocean Master got into Mira's ear, talking about Diana was at her weakest at this
mm-hmm.
point. If you go
Right.
seek her out, you can fight her to the death because she's at her weakest. Her
Mm-hmm.
guard would be down. I was like, y'all don't know much about Themyscira.
Mm-hmm. No, no, but yeah. Now they did do a few things that are interesting, like Terra was the reason Themyscira did not get destroyed by Aquaman because she brought it so high above the earth, the ground, sea level. But then they did did it the opposite way, where Aquaman got a hold of Geoforce and we're using his power to sink the land. It's like, okay, now
Mhm.
that's kind of interesting, but how long are you going to have this battle going on for? There's only so much dirt y'all can work with. Yeah.
And it's like, how are they how are they procreating? Because again,
Hmm.
I don't see many Themyscirian women going across the earth taking concubines to
Yeah.
repopulate the earth with women.
Yeah. This was before Brian Azzarello made him rapists. So, you know, it was
I
Didn't
mean,
have many.
it was what it was, but I still like how Bruce tricked Arthur in Flashpoint Beyond.
Hmm.
It's like, wait, so you did all of this, you did all of this to get to try to kill me, try to kill me. It's like, no, I did all of this to get your trident. And it's like, are you mad? What makes you think I'm going to give my trident to you? Because you're about to be dead. So you did come to kill me. No, I didn't come to kill you. I just came to give you a warning. What warning? She's right behind you. Diana comes in, snatched him up, is like, nope, dead.
Yeah, yeah. Now, there was like I said, there was some good stuff in Flashpoint, but it, as a segue into the New 52, it wasn't that great. And from the standpoint, it was supposed to be DC's Age of Apocalypse.
But there's no apocalypse, so it doesn't
Uh,
make
It
sense.
was like it was like they were trying too hard. You know, it's like you could have done your own thing. There was some really good stuff in it, but it was like, I mean, because look, you can go down the list. Just like with the Age of Apocalypse, they had one the two shot miniseries that was about what was happening in the other parts of the world.
Hmm.
That's what you had that in Flashpoint. That's where you got the Canterbury Cricket and Lois Lane leading a resistance in Europe.
Right.
You had, instead of the X-Men, you had the Magneto's X-Men. Okay, and instead of Wonder Woman, we've got the Flashpoint Wonder Woman. And it was like, you don't have to make it exact. You could have done your own thing. And their idea of messing up time in the DC universe because of the quote unquote rules of the DC universe didn't make any sense. Barry Allen could not have caused that big of a ripple through the multiverse, being Barry Allen. He just couldn't. It would have created another Earth where all of this happened, and the regular DC Earth would have been just fine sitting over here the way it was, and nothing would have happened. But they rewrote all the rules because, damn it, we want our Age of Apocalypse. 10 years after it happened, but we want ours. You know, it was just, it could have been so much better. And I
No,
think it
they
got
could have wrote the premise a lot better.
and I think it got crapped on a lot because it was what they used to reboot the universe for the New 52. And it just, that did not work at all. That story beat made no sense. So it was like Flashpoint gets dumped on a lot because of everything going on around it.
Mhm.
So I think it could have, if it would have just left alone and it was just like a one-off like Age of Apocalypse. And we had, like in Age of Apocalypse, where some of the characters from there, like Sugar Man and the Evil Beast, came over to the regular universe. You know, we have Thomas Wayne, Batman, and I would have been fine with an evil Aquaman because he was pretty cool, uh, all things considered. Stuff like that would have been great. And the evil, you know, bring over the outsider. We need an evil Alfred again. Um, but it did not fit the narrative of creating an entirely new continuity for the entire line of DC Comics.
That's because they got scared because they didn't want to really rewrite that timeline because like I said, there's like, oh, it had a minor ripple effect. It's like, no, that would be too major because you have to think about it. Barry would not have post-traumatic syndrome from the death of his mother because of Flashpoint.
Mm-hmm.
He would have had a happy life with a father and mother together.
Like he had pre-crisis.
That changes his whole outlook
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not he kept his powers would have been debatable, but that
Mm-hmm.
ripple effect would have did whatever happened with Thomas Wayne. There probably would have been no Bruce, which means
Mm-hmm.
that the universe would have changed. If there was no Bruce, then it would have been pretty much Thomas Wayne and Harvey Dent as Batman and
Mm-hmm.
Robin.
Right.
And that would have been interesting. Harvey Dent as a Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the outsider, which was the evil Alfred, or I call him SAS Alfred, which would have been like, yeah, that would have been very, very interesting. And then with Wonder Woman, it would have been like, oh, That version of Wonder Woman was not. It's like Themyscira was never led by Hippolyta.
Hmm.
Cersei took them over. This is Themyscira up under Cersei's control,
Hmm.
and Diana was like high ranking or the sovereign in
Hmm.
Cersei's place. I mean,
Yeah, and
it could have been a lot more done here.
right, and it was
Arthur
the whole.
Arthur could have been born in Atlantis and was
Mhm.
accepted as a halfling,
Yep,
half human, half. I mean, they could
like
have did a lot of things. That ripple would have caused a lot more effects than just what they
right,
did.
right, and it was also the whole matter of, aside from the fact they didn't really need to do the reboot, but it was like, okay, we're going to reboot everything except the stuff that Jeff Johnson, Grant Morrison did, because if you remember, Batman, Green Lantern, and the Legion of Superheroes all kept their original pre Flashpoint continuity. It was just shrunk down to that 5 year period.
That's why
And
Flashpoint Beyond was so important and so pivotal because
mm-hmm.
Thomas figured out that the two worlds were in existence at the same time. So he was leaving Bruce letters. And I
Yeah.
forgot the character that was crossing over between the two universes.
Um, I'm trying to think of it now.
Because remember, Bruce kept seeing this one little kid crossing
Hmm.
over.
Right.
And then
I
at the
don't
very
remember who
end, I
it was
believe it
now.
was Flash that brought Bruce the last letter,
Hmm. Now,
where Thomas actually said, "I'm proud of you and what you have done in your universe."
hmm now, I think it would have been a good. I'm sticking by my thing about when they decided to go ahead with Rebirth and to fix the New 52, and they brought Wally back, and they brought back the JSA, and they're bringing all this back, and they were laying it all on Dr. Manhattan's feet.
Uh-huh.
Those first few months of Rebirth, where everything was heading in that direction of the DC universe versus the Watchmen universe, was going to be really interesting, especially when they were talking about they kept hinting that this one character was Ozymandias,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know if it's because Jeff Johns lost power in the company or what happened. It wasn't it wasn't Ozymandias, it was Jor-El somehow survived Krypton, and it was him. I was like, now this doesn't make any sense because this person that y'all are now saying was Jor-El through all of Rebirth, if it was him and he was trying to do this to test Superman and get Superman ready for this, why did you have all those stories in Detective Comics where he was messing with the Bat family?
Right.
Why was he showing Cassie and Stephanie they were Batgirl? That didn't make any sense, and I think that's when things started to nosedive real bad with it because when they were all heading in that direction, I was like, okay, this is a little bit weird that they're fighting the Watchmen, but that's interesting. Ozymandias is messing around, and they had the button is where Batman and Barry went back to the Flashpoint universe,
Mhm.
and Doctor Manhattan killed Reverse Flash. I wanted to see how that turned out, and it went away.
Well,
And,
that's the thing that I wanted the heads up on. I wanted that heads up between Ozymandias and Batman and Bruce,
mhm,
because I don't see Bruce beating Ozymandias. Ozymandias thinks way too deep for Batman. There's
mhm.
no way in the world you will be prepared for everything that Ozymandias can throw at you.
Yeah. And for those who have no idea what we're talking about, if you want to see what we're talking about with Ozymandias, go pick up anything called Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, and you'll see what this character is. He's a really great character. Um, but yeah, he would have outwitted Bruce. But they were having a big thing about it was bringing Tim Drake back to being the Tim Drake he used to be, where he was the better detective, where he was the one figuring stuff out because he's the one that got close to Mister O or Mister Z. I don't remember which one they called him.
Right.
Um, Before again, it all went away. So there was a lot, and the button they were bringing the comedian back for some reason. That would have been interesting too. Seeing the comedian running wild in the DC universe. That would have been something. Um,
The comedian at his warlike days, his
mhm,
former war days, would have been interesting to see in the DC universe, because it would have forced them to deal with all these other offshoot characters, because he
mhm.
would have gone after everybody.
Yeah.
And the
There.
thing about it is, like, he was you know, the comedian was a very dangerous character. It's like, I don't want to say he's creeper on crack, but comedian is just a scary dude.
Mhm,
And with the way that he felt about humanity and
mhm.
races, it would have been like, yeah,
Oh yeah.
he
There.
would have been he would have been he would have been a terror to deal with.
Mhm. There's a lot of mileage they could have gotten out of a lot of it. I mean, if nothing else, to see the big showdown where you would get the analogs of the Watchmen facing the Watchmen would have been interesting. We would have gotten to see Blue Beetle fight um, Night Owl, wasn't it? Yeah, and uh, Doctor Manhattan fighting Captain Atom and all that. That alone would have been interesting for a little while.
No, what I wanted to see
War,
what we call it, Dr. Manhattan fighting Shazam.
yeah, but Doctor Manhattan was um, Captain Atom because the original pitch for Watchmen was the Charlton Comics characters.
Hmm.
So I'd like to see that before they went into fighting the other DC characters or Headman. Look, Rorschach versus the Question, that would have been awesome. That would have been awesome.
That again, that's the other thing that I had a question about. With Awesome Mandy's clue in Rorschach as far as what his real plan was. That would have been the issue that I have with this story. It's like, Ozymandias had to let him in.
Hmm.
And remember, Ozymandias never talks about his plan unless that plan could get derailed by someone.
Hmm.
Rorschach, you have to give him kind of like a heads up, or else he will figure out, it's like, oh, I can't allow that to happen.
Right. Right. Yeah, so I don't know.
But yeah, but Rorschach versus Question.
Mhm.
Question can't doesn't hold a candle to Rorschach.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. It'd be. It's a really really cool what might have been. Um, I'm sure you will never get an interview ever where Jeff Johns tells you what his plan was
Mhm.
because he kind of seems like he's over it and he don't want to talk about it anymore. But I really would have liked to know what the end goal was going to be because the end goal was not what it turned out, the way it turned out. So I'm really curious how that would go. I think that would have been a big seller. Watchmen versus DC, that would have been a big seller. Um,
Well,
I don't know.
again, we got Authority versus DC
Yeah,
because of the team ups between the Authority and Superman.
yeah. I don't. I love the Authority. I thought that was one of the coolest comics that came out at the time. It was what led to the JLA under Grant Morrison. It's what led to these big over the top comic stories again. But realistically, none of the Wildstorm characters in my mind fit in the DC universe. Why do you have Stormwatch and Weatherman 1 and all this when you already have a Superman? You don't need it. Why do you have the Wildcats running around when you already have a Green Lantern Corps and a Dark Stars and Omega Man?
Well,
It's they're like,
you have to understand, Wildcats was not equivalent to a Green Lantern Corps.
well, no, I'm just using the example of a group that fought aliens on Earth, and the first one that came to mind was Green Lantern.
Yeah,
But
I'll give you that here, because technically Wildcats was more akin to the X-Men.
right, right,
And
or any. any there's no need for a Wildcats when you have all of these other DC character teams that do what they do. I'm
And
sorry, quite frankly, better.
following that logic, why did they have a Gen 13 when you already had the Teen Titans?
Right. And when Wildstorm was by itself as his own universe, it's fine to have Gen 13. It's fine to have the authority. But when you bring them in and they're part of the mainstream DC universe, you don't need a Gen 13 because you have Teen Titans. You don't need an authority because you have a Justice League. And I'm sorry, Apollo is awesome, but he's like Timu Superman. You don't need him. So they work out the Wildstorm characters. I love their books. When I got rid of all my Marvel and Image books, the Wildstorm books and Spawn were the only ones I kept. Um, but they just don't work inside the DC universe. Kind of bad example, I know, but it's like there's no need for the Malibu characters in the Marvel universe. So
Don't mention it again. Everybody wants me to comment about Ultraverse, and they made me watch the Ultraverse cartoon. I just up here just shook my head, just like, no, stop this, stop this pain already, stop it. But you're
again,
right. There's no reason for Malibu to, those characters come in, because again, it's like we don't need a Prime. We don't need all of these other characters that they came up with.
now I will say Lord Pumpkin would make an awesome villain in the Marvel universe, but
Mhm.
he was about the only one. But yeah, these just because you own them, you don't have to bring them into your mainstream universe. Like, okay, I mean, again, I'm showing our age here. Back in
Uh,
the day, they bought Fawcett, they bought Charlton, they bought Quality. They didn't just throw them all into the DC universe. They had their own multiverse. They were their own Earth. There's Earth S and X and 4 where they can be there and they can make appearances, but they're not like clogging up the works doing stuff that other characters already do better than them. They
well,
could do Wildstorm
well,
the same way.
that causes another problem though, and I hate to say it, but you got the elongated man problem when you do that. If you understand what I mean by that, it's like, yeah, DC bought Fawcett. Oh, we need like a character that can stretch and do this, that, the other. We're going to come up with an elongated man. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to do this, that, the other, and we're going to have blah 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 blah. Only for that editor to find out it's like, yeah, you could have used Plastic Man instead. You could have used Eel O'Brien. What happened when they finally brought Eel O'Brien over to the Justice League? It worked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he wasn't as good a detective as Ralph was. But I'm glad you brought up Plastic Man.
Uh,
Plastic Man was never shown being on Earth X because he was a quality character. The moment they bought Quality, Plastic Man was thrown into the main DC universe. And I know, I mean, I can understand why because it's Plastic Man and he was a very popular character. But it's like back in that time, they didn't do that.
right. They didn't bring him into one of the actual DC Earths.
No, they were, all right, man, we got the quality characters. Human Bomb, Uncle Sam, you got here, man. This is your
Phantom
Earth. This is
Lady.
Earth
Phantom
X.
Lady didn't even make a great appearance as at that time
Yeah,
during that time either.
Black Condor, all of them is like, man, this
Mhm.
is your Earth. Except you, Plastic Man, you get to come play with the cool kids. And but he and I mean, even Captain Marvel, who arguably was the most popular non DC character
Mhm.
that they could have gotten their hands on. He got shoved into his own Earth. I mean, he was there. I mean, yes, we had Captain Marvel comics, but he didn't interact with the other DC universe except for like the JSA GLA crossovers. But Plastic Man, they're like somebody loved them some Plastic Man, and it was just like he's going to be part of our Earth from now on. And then Roy Thomas loved him so much he brought him into Earth too and made him part of the All Star Squadron and a member of the FBI. So it's like I understand because personally I love Plastic Man. I remember when I was a little kid watching Plastic Man cartoon and Baby Plas.
Yes,
I I I
the old
love
school
Plastic Man.
Ruby Spears.
Yes, but why he was the chosen one, I could not tell you. But yeah, he was the only one at the time. And it's so weird. And it worked because he was the only one. If they did that with everybody, it wouldn't have worked as well.
That's true. It probably wouldn't have worked as well. But then again, we wouldn't have the classic stories like what was it called? Injustice. The Injustice stories dealing with Eel O'Brien of why that Superman, out of all characters, that Superman was afraid of Eel O'Brien. Not
Right. Now
because of powers, not because of his powers, not because of anything else. He was more afraid that Eel O'Brien would do some things that nobody else would have thought about, and they have no countermeasures for it.
that was one I don't know why I didn't think of it until just now when we started talking about that. He was the other character that was so radically different in Flashpoint. He was scary.
Mm-hmm.
Flashpoint Plastic Man was scary as hell. Um, and what was the zombie deceased?
Mm-hmm.
Zombie Plastic Man was scary too. It's like it's like everybody accepts the fact that Plastic Man is like is legit on the same level power wise as the big hitters in the DC universe. But they it's like he got slotted as a comedy character. And every once in a while we'll let him be not a comedy character, but not man, gotta go back over here and do some slapstick. Go get with Woozy Winks and do something funny. Um, I don't know,
That
it's
makes me,
weird.
it still makes me think about Offspring,
Mm-hmm,
and especially after reading Plastic Man No More.
mm-hmm,
I can understand why his son took up his mantle.
mm-hmm.
He does again. He does have the same powers. He does have the same powers, and technically, Ill is not dead.
Mm-hmm.
He can't control his body anymore. He can't
Right.
reform.
Well, in I don't have it nearby me. Justice League Unlimited with Mark Wade. It's set after the Absolute Power big event.
Uh-huh.
Eel has Phantom Girl from the Terrifics powers, and Phantom Girl has Plastic Man's powers, and it's killing both of them. And so they were like some of the first ones that they had to the at Ray Palmer and Ryan Choi and Captain Atom worked together. They were the first ones they had to switch their powers back
Mm-hmm.
because they were afraid of what was going to happen to the world. Um, but yeah, they're still going now with what to do with Plastic Man. Which, if you've never read it, all you folks out there, the Terrifics was great. Plastic Man was great in it. His interactions with Rex Mason made the damn book. Oh, it was a better Fantastic Four for the time than the Fantastic Four that Marvel was not producing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Ill is just one of those characters that he makes he makes the book or makes the story interesting. He finds a way to make the story interesting. He's not a true comedy character unless you give him that latitude to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
That man is a detective. Don't get me wrong. He is a diehard detective, but the thing that I don't like about what they did in Plastic Man No More, they kept
Mm-hmm.
going back to the fact that it's like this guy is a jewel thief. He used to be a villain. It's like, but that gives him an edge.
Yeah.
He knows how the criminal element will think. This is a safe cracker who has not been caught one time. And even the one time that he would have got caught, he fell in the vat and everything. He was able to get himself up and got out, and some monk found him.
Mm-hmm.
Going all the way back to Police Comics 1.
Right. Right.
And
Now
what did he do? What did he do after he found out about his plastic powers? He fucked up the robbery crew
Mm-hmm.
that he was with because they left him behind.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever read Joe Kelly's Justice League?
No.
That
Wait,
was that
okay,
weird.
okay. Which volume is that Justice League?
That was the one where they introduced the Justice League Elite, which was like their version of Authority, and it was the Obsidian Age and all of that, where the big seven were trapped in ancient Atlantis, and Nightwing and Faith and Major Disaster
Was
were
that the
there.
one where Plastic Man? They told that Plastic Man found out he was immortal.
That was the one where they found out that Plastic Man was Batman's contingency plan if Martian Manhunter ever went rogue, because
Really?
because it was a weird story where Martian Manhunter wanted to overcome his the Martian weakness to fire. And it was this long convoluted story where you found out that the weakness to fire was put in them was genetically put into the Martian race by the Guardians of the Universe. Because before that there was no pale Martians and no green Martians. They were all called burning Martians. And they were like completely overpowered and were going to like wipe out all life in the universe. And so when he became free from fire, he became a burning Martian. And he was doing stuff like he made an entire government uh, wet works team sit outside in the desert and stare at the sun all day, telepathically. And he was just, there was no stopping him because, because let's be realistic. Take away him all of a sudden being able to be on fire and not hurt. Martian Manhunter is the most powerful character in the Justice League, period.
Yeah. Well, hold
And
on.
one of,
I know. I try to think. I try to
well,
think.
I
I
mean,
try
if
to
you
think
want to
of
get
one.
into
I
like
try to think of
Doctor,
one other character that could beat Martian Manhunter, because I forgot there was one other telepath that could beat him. But yeah,
yeah,
pound for pound, he can stand up
but
to Superman. He can stand up to Superman. He can fight just as voracious as Diana. He can
mhm,
outsmart Bruce.
right. And his telepathy gives him, and his shapeshifting gives him the edge over a lot of them too. But you find
No,
out
his
Batman,
telepathy can stop. His telepathy can stop Barry or Wally.
yeah, what you find out is Eel's elasticity also affects his brain chemistry, and John cannot telepathically affect him.
Oh, okay.
So you were getting these huge, I mean, they fought, I want to say almost two straight issues. And it was, Plastic Man on steroids with his, he's the size of a kaiju and he's making all these extra limbs that got like chainsaws and all this on it. And there's Martian Manhunter doing the same thing with his shape shifting. And Plastic Man's getting the edge because John can't affect him telepathically. So he's Batman's contingency for Martian Manhunter ever went rogue. I was like, okay, now that's kind of cool. A lot of Joe Kelly's stuff was a little weird, but I was like, all right, this is kind of neat. I like that.
Well, I thought you was talking about originally. I thought you were going to go back to the story where they was in Atlantis and everything, and they did this one mission in Atlantis, and I forgot who did it, but they froze Eel O'Brien and they shattered him into many parts, and they left him in Atlantis for about
Yes.
like 4,000 years, and he
Hmm.
was able to reform himself because they thought he was dead.
Right. That's all from Joe Kelly's run.
Uh-huh.
Um, the Martian Manhunter stuff was towards the end of it. I want to
Uh-huh.
say right before was it Dwayne McDuffie who took it over next? I don't know who it was, like the last couple of stories in his run. So it was after the Obsidian Age where Eel was frozen for 4,000 years. And there's a cat trying to eat a comic box. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Where are you? I hear you. I don't like our kitten. He gets into everything. Uh,
Oh, since we mentioning comics, we need to do some reviews here.
oh
I
yeah.
I held off on reviewing issue 1 and issue 2 of Planet She-Hulk here.
Oh,
So
good.
I know you have a couple. So we got
Yes.
those to talk about before we get too far into it because we already talked for like an hour 30 already.
Yeah. All right. Hit it. I want to hear
Uh,
about Planet She-Hulk.
oh, you want to hear about Planet She-Hulk?
Yeah.
I it's like I saved it because I wanted you here because you understand how people feel about Me Too type stuff here. And I was
Hmm.
disappointed when I started to read this. It's like, why would you make a title that comes off as a Me Too type deal? So I'm not going to go all the way through, but Planet She-Hulk #1 pretty much sets up the whole premise as a whole, what's actually going on here. No, she did not get tossed off of the earth. She didn't land on any strange planet. She didn't take it over or all this other stuff. Yada 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 yada.
Hmm.
Planet She-Hulk starts off at the one planet where Bruce's son passed away. He was like one of the sovereign rulers on that planet, and he passed away. So pretty much it was Bruce and Jennifer attending Bruce's son's funeral.
Hmm.
And Bruce being the way that he is, and everybody, looked at him as, the rightful king of this planet, this, that, and the other. He declared that there's going to be 5 days worth of peace. There's not supposed to be any war. There's not supposed to be any argument, no disagreement. 5 days, 5 days, in 5 days of peace, and then, to mourn and all this other stuff, and everything could go back to the way it was. So Bruce then turns to Jennifer. It's like, okay, cool, this, that, and the other. I guess I'll see you back on Earth when you have a chance. It's like, no, I got something to do here. I need to ask you a favor. And she was like, well, what's the favor? I need you to stay here for the 5 days to make certain that, these people adhere to my command. It's just like 5 days. It's like, yeah, you have my word. I will be back in 5 days. Don't worry about it. It'll be the easiest 5 days ever. Those 5 days gone and passed, and now we're into like 20 and 30 days into this. And we see all the other factions about to get ready to go into this war. And they were about, well, not really go to war, but they had like this one peaceful banquet, and this one king was about to get ready to announce his engagement and all this other stuff. And then this one big fight breaks out. And in that fight, his fiance gets killed. Now, the get killed part, was it planned or was it an accident? Is the question. Because one of the factions that broke into the ceremony had tech that people have not seen before.
Hmm.
So now this king has like, okay, fine, I'll declare all out war, this, that, and the other. And since we have a Hulk on our side, people going to have to, abide by it. It's like, my decree is going to be this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. So is it. So it be, so it is the law, this, that, and the other. So She-Hulk, pretty much just looking at this, it's like, I don't know about that. They got to be, justice got to be served, this, that, and the other. We got to figure out what's really going on behind the scenes. And it is that how issue 1 ends. Issue 2 begins with the so-called king of that one area of the planet that's going off his deep rocker.
Hmm.
They brought him one of the captives from the invading army and this, that, and the other. And Jennifer's like, no, you can't kill him. We need to interrogate him. It's like, and he was like, are you standing in my way, Hulk? It's like, you work for me, not the other way around. And this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. So he's up here trying to trying to flex on Jennifer, and Jennifer was like, you don't really want to do that. It's like, and he was like, you work for me, this, that, and the other. We do this way, and this, that, and the other. So it's like, and he was like, are you disobeying my command? If so, then you are against me, and we're about to get ready to go to war on you. So she actually backs down. The king takes the dude's head right there in front of her. she goes off, to blow off some steam, and end up talking to this one other warrior for a bit to kind of blow off the steam and all this other stuff here, and then the tide shifts to somebody else on the planet who is one of the generals who have fought for this king in the past, this, that, and the other. He's kind of like a weaponsmith. He was working on his sword, and he ended up meeting up with his one true love and this, that, and the other, and they was plotting to overthrow this king because they up here. It's like, yeah, he does not honor the tradition, this, that, and the other. It will bring peace back to this planet if this happens. So one thing led to another, and then the king decides, in his ultimate wisdom, I'm about to go outside and flex to the people. So he goes out into like the town square and everything. I'm going to show you this real quick. That's him. I'm going to come to the big screen here before I can show it to you. So right there, that's him with his caravan, people carrying him like he's all big, bad, and mighty and everything. And he goes and gives like this ultimate speech here. It's like justice will be served for my beloved and all this other stuff and this, that, and the other. And those who don't like it could consider themselves against me and this, that, and the other, and you will die here and there. So the guy that I was talking about, which is right here, he decides it's like, well, this guy in here. It's like, and then he said the best thing ever. This has nothing to do with my army. I'm just against you. Why can't we just fight this out one-on-one? And this guy is like, forget that. I have an army. I'm a king. I don't have to get my hands dirty. So that's when Jennifer said, I had enough. It's like, I'm a Hulk. I'm on his side now. And then that's when the king decides, it's like, you know what? Fuck them, kill them all. And then all of a sudden, the third faction shows up again with more tech that nobody has seen before. And that's where issue number 2 ends. But saying all this to say, it's like, this to me is not Planet She-Hulk. This is not what I would consider a Planet She-Hulk type deal. This is a Me Too. This is like, put Jennifer on the same planet that Bruce was and see how she reacts to a lot of this bullshit fighting.
It doesn't.
Go ahead.
It doesn't ring too true to me to the character of Jennifer Walters that she would back down, even if it sets up later story points. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure Jennifer wouldn't back down to a point that she felt that strongly on it. But again, I'd have to go back and look at it, see how it all went. But
because again, the way that she backed down, she didn't back down. She stood up. She stood up for what was right, but she backed down in a way that is just like, I promise Bruce, I will not cause an incident with him.
Right. Okay. Now I will admit, you kind of confused me at first, because when you said Me Too, I immediately thought about the Me Too movement.
No.
I was like, what does it have to do?
No, not that. I'm talking about Me Too.
You're talking about the Me Too's. Okay.
More like, there's a planet Hulk. Now we gotta have a planet She-Hulk. It's like, no, you don't.
Okay. You're talking about when I would teach, I would talk to the kids about you don't want to fall victim to the Me Too's. Whereas you're sparring and little Jimmy kicks you in the head, that doesn't mean, well, now Me Too, I have to do nothing else but try and kick you in the head.
Right.
Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. Okay. All right. I was a little confused there at first. It's like, what kind of story is he fixing to tell me?
No, I'm not talking about that type of Me Too. No, this is what.
Okay. Which I have strong feelings about too, but I'm just glad that wasn't what we were going with right now. So.
Yeah, I'm up here like, nope. It's like, this to me. It's like, oh, that's where this story is going. It's like, oh, so it's Jennifer's turn to be the Hulk on this planet and blah 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 blah. It's like, I'm not dissing the story at all, because there's some interesting points in the story, but this is not a Jennifer story. This is more on life. What if Bruce wasn't around and Jennifer was there?
Mm-hmm. Now I will say those robots at the end look pretty cool. I want to see more of them. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I didn't read issue. I got the rest of it. I got the rest of it sitting right here. I just haven't gotten to reading the rest of them.
Right.
So it's a
Because I'm
six
from the
issue series. It's a 6 issue series. I'm on issue. I haven't started issue number 3 as of yet.
because I'm from that
Yeah,
generation where
I got so disenamored with number 2 because it's just like at this point now you're going to stand up to him after somebody else says like, hey, I'm about to rightfully take what it, do what's right in this, that, and the other. And I was like, yeah. So now Jennifer got some backing. Now she's ready to fight. It's like, okay. I have seen times where it's like Jennifer does what is right by herself.
hmm Oh yeah, and I forgot. There's also a World War She-Hulk, wasn't there?
Don't even get me started with World War She-Hulk. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I thought that sounded familiar.
The brainwashing storyline.
hmm Okay, I was just making sure that that was a thing, and I didn't dream it up.
No,
Uh,
you did not
okay,
bring that up. That actually did happen in the Avengers. That
mm,
those were actual Avengers issues.
okay, all right. And when you were flipping through there, and they had that ad next to it, shout out to the evil version of the Invisible Woman, Malice.
Right,
That was pretty awesome. He was in the ad you showed next to the page you were showing with Jennifer and all that. So I was like,
right.
oh, Malice is back. Awesome. Evil Sue Richards. That's pretty cool. Uh,
Well, brainwashed Sue Richards.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but again, with her turning somewhat evil made her more of an interesting character than what she was. I mean, her
hmm
powers went a lot further than what people
hmm
thought of, with her being more vicious.
Yeah. And just because we're talking about it, I just want to give a big middle finger to Hasbro right now because they do a line of Marvel Legends figures that are tie-ins with the card game Magic the Gathering. And they are fixing to release a Black Panther with the Infinity Gauntlet, like in Secret Wars, a Doom 2099, and a Sue Richards as Malice figure as part of the Magic the Gathering tie-ins. And you are not allowed to order them separately because they're magic. It's a magic set. You have to buy all four of the $40 a piece characters. And Hasbro, I'm giving you a middle finger for that. That's some bullshit. Because I wanted to do,
They trying to gouge people for money, and I understand that. That's just the way
but
that it
because
is.
I went to my LCS today specifically to ask about the Doom 2099 figure because that was my favorite 2099 comic. Um, and he told me, he goes, yeah, because of the rules of the way we sell we have to sell magic sets. We can't sell them individually. We have to sell them all as a case. I was
Oh
like,
wow!
you know
So
what? I'm gonna buy it open on eBay for $25 and you can kiss my ass. Because I don't care. I know nothing about Magic the Gathering. I don't want the cards. I'm sure that if you're into that, it's awesome. I just want the figure. And I'm not buying a case of figures and cards just for one character. I will buy it on eBay open. So yeah, that's messed up. So sorry, Magic people. I hope you enjoy them, but
it,
I don't need a case of figures with cards.
right.
Oh, so but before it gets too long in the tooth,
Yep. Before we get all ranty, because now you're making
yeah.
me think about a lot of GI Joe stuff that I can't afford from Hasbro Direct.
Oh, don't start with me on that. Oh, oh no. I am so mad about that, especially because all the really cool stuff I want,
Mhm.
they make exclusives and they sell out before they even get on the website.
Yep.
And then I have to spend so much money on eBay for it. Mm-mm. But I will give them props because they instead of ignoring G.I. Joe the movie, they're embracing it and they're making every wacky character from that into a figure. And I am so happy
Yep.
because G.I. Joe the movie was terrible, but Burgess Meredith as a half snake man, that was gold right there. I'm just saying.
That Galobulus, it was Galobulus. I like Galobulus, Pythona, and Nemesis Enforcer.
hmm
The one thing I was waiting for is Nemesis Enforcer to actually say something.
Yeah, yeah, and they can't call him that. Then he has a figure now, but
Mhm.
he's Nemesis Immortal because they lost the rights to Enforcer somehow.
Okay.
So, but yeah, the only one they haven't made yet is a Globulus, and I want one. because they
I
even
remember. I
made,
remember. I remember the old 6 inch figure.
yeah, I had that one because he came in a 3 pack with Nimbus Enforcer and one of the guards. And I thought this half snake man was the coolest thing ever. So
Hmm.
I want a grown up version of it for me to play with now because they already made um, the Cobra Commander where he's getting turned back into a snake as a figure,
Right.
which again was an exclusive, and I'm never going to afford it because I'm not paying that much for one action figure. But
I
yeah,
I I I, I would be so tripped out if they actually created BET.
that'll probably be
I
like
would be like, "You actually did it. I want it."
that'll probably be a HasLab thing where you got to kickstart for it. And I'm not that much into it, but I would love it if they made one. But off the
Okay.
subject of GI Joe, because I could talk about that all night
Yep.
too.
Yep.
I had two books I was going to review, but one of them I've been putting off, Batman: The Truth, and I'm going to put it off again because I want Elaine to be here because I want to hear her reaction to Wonder Woman in this book. So
Okay.
we'll say that one. I did also read as part of the DC Next Level series, Barbara Gordon Breakout #1, which is Barbara Gordon in prison,
Yep.
and it was written by Mariko Tamaki, which I am not familiar with. And the art is by someone else, and I'm not going to butcher their name because their artwork is actually pretty good, and I would hate to do that to them. But I'll admittedly, I'm a little bit lost when I read this because I am not caught up to all the current happenings in the Batman family universe.
Okay.
I do know that Poison Ivy is the mayor, and I do know that Vandal Savage is Commissioner Gordon, and he's basically running Gotham, and the Bat family have been made outlaws, and Vandal Savage took over Wayne Manor, and Bruce, being of white privilege he blew it the fuck up just because it wasn't his anymore. But I'm not 100% sure of everything else going on. But this was not, it was easy to pick up on what's happening in this book. So I'll give it that credit. So it starts off, they make a plan, the Bat family makes a plan because they're trying to figure out what Vandal Savage is planning with the instead of Blackgate Prison now, they have a giant floating Supermax prison called Supermax. And
Super Max.
yeah. And
So Arkham's no longer good. They got to be on the cloud.
well, yeah. Well, Arkham Tower apparently is still around, but it's only touched upon in certain books, in certain
Okay.
Bat family books. Other ones ignore it. But and again, this is a little bit of political satire. And so, if there are any of you who get your feelings hurt by people drawing light to our current political climate and what may or may not happen one day, don't read this book. Vandal Savage is throwing all of his political opponents in the Supermax prison, and they're turning up dead. Uh, Barbara is going in undercover as a prisoner. Well, not undercover because she's going in as Barbara Gordon. She's not going in as Batgirl. So
Right.
we'll put it that way. Um, and so she's in there and she's trying to find out what's happening. And Nightwing and Cassie are all worried about because she'll be in there cut off from everybody. We can't help you, blah blah blah. And Bruce is like, man, whatever, just go do your thing. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Now we got Dickenstein, Bruce Wayne again.
yeah, he's like, all right, man, you go do it. I believe in you, blah 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 blah. Go, just go over there and do something. Um, and she's there, and again, it's just a setup of Barbara's first day in prison, how she's getting the lay of the land, and all of the prisoners are like, oh wait, your name's Gordon. You former Commissioner Gordon's kid. They're the reason I'm in here. So she's got all that to worry with, plus all the people she put in there as Batgirl or Oracle, however you want to
Mhm.
look at it. And I did get a good laugh out of them. So there's one line in here um, where she says, she makes light of the fact. She goes, uh, I've been Barbara Gordon, then I was Batgirl, then I was Oracle, then I was both at the same time. Now I'm just prisoner 682281. Uh, it's like, yeah, they couldn't decide which
6281.
one they want. They couldn't decide which one they wanted you as, so you are both of them now. Good luck with that.
They need to come up
Um,
with a book. They need to come up with a book where it's named 62281.
yeah, that would be awesome. But there, she's and again, the artwork in here is pretty nice. I like it, but it was drawn by and put together by written and put together by people who have never been in a real fight, so they don't know what a fight looks like. Because she's kung fuing an entire cafeteria full of prisoners, and that's
That's
not
not
fun.
going to work.
And there's a scene you can't see it real well, but she is putting this one prisoner in a rear naked choke, and she's doing it ass backwards. And somehow or another, once she's got her arms entangled around this lady's throat, she has enough time to elbow this other girl that's coming up behind her in the face.
Wait. Race it up. Race up the bag. Yeah.
Okay, so see, here she is choking the chick. Here's the girl
Wait.
running up to her, and somehow when she's interlocking her arms around the
Rear naked choke. You got that. You got that arch. Person coming from behind you. You
so
don't have
basically
enough time to let go and spin. No,
for
doesn't
those
work.
of you who don't understand what's happening, Barbara Gordon's arms are interlocked like this
Mm-hmm.
around the person's throat, even though she's not doing it correctly because she has the forearm in front of her throat instead of her elbow, which means she's not actually choking her, she's killing her. Um, Here, and the person's coming up behind her, and she has time to let go of all of her arms and do this.
No, that's
Getting
not. That's not. That's not a fluid motion. There's no fluid motion that you could use to.
so that again, this is the artwork in here looks pretty good, but this person does not know how a fight works.
Now, what the way that I would have, the way I would have probably did that portion here is, it's like I would have had her to try to exhaust herself while she had that naked choke lock on.
Hmm.
Lift up on the guy and swung the guy's legs or something into her or something.
Right. Yeah, but it's again, that's
Not
just it's one of those things.
elbow. It's like,
It's
no,
one
that's
of
not
those
going to work.
things that you know someone who doesn't really know what the stuff looks like will just accept it. But if you know, it's staring you in the face. But this is what I found interesting because I don't think I've ever encountered this character yet in my comic reading. The person she elbowed makes the comment, "You look familiar. Do I know who you are?" And Barbara's like, "No, I don't. I've never seen you before." But we find out that this chick that got elbowed in the mouth, um, her villain name is Die, Die, not as in like you go die now, but as in like a single die, like a gambling die, because she tells everybody that she is the daughter of Two Face, not Harvey
Oh,
Dent, not Harvey Dent's daughter, Two Face's daughter.
right.
And apparently, in the next page over, you see her. Barbara's flashing back to fighting her, and from the flashback they're showing, this character apparently is in one of the newer versions of the Birds of Prey because there's Barbara in her Doc Martin college girl Batgirl costume, Big Barda, Cassandra Kane Batgirl, and Black Canary with the little canary on her shirt on her costume. So this
Hmm.
is a recent thing. So if she was around before that, I never remember
It
encountering
could still
her.
it could
But
still be volume one. It could have still been volume one of
mhm,
Birds of Prey because Barter was around towards the end of
right.
volume one.
But I'm excited because I want to read more about Two Face's daughter. That's what caught my attention in this book.
Uh,
And she's going through, she's trying to find out what the end goal is with all of these political prisoners getting killed and apparently suicide in the prison. and you find out that the guards aren't police officers; they're ex-cons that work for Vandal Savage. So even the guards are out to get Barbara. And then we come to where the entire cafeteria finds out that Barbara is, you know, Commissioner Gordon's daughter, and they all decide to fight her. And of course, we get the obligatory scene of people who don't know what fight works. Barbara beating the hell out of everyone in the cafeteria, including my favorite scene for people who've only watched movies and don't know how fights actually work, where Barbara is side kicking one person in the face over here while doing this number to the person behind her. So yeah, um, I
There's no
don't know.
force doing this. Get no force doing that. If sidekick, there's no force going that way. You're not doing
Yeah.
anything but be like, okay, oh, somebody's back there. You're not knocking nobody out. You're just like, okay, you touched them.
Mm-hmm. Which I at least will give who the artist credit, because they at least know what a sidekick is supposed to look like, because the motion lines are drawn in a straight line, showing her legs going in a straight line like a sidekick, as opposed to like coming around with
Right.
a round
Like
kick
a
or
roundhouse
something.
or a quarter
So
circle.
they at least knew that much. But yeah, the sidekick backfist thing, that man, I'm like, just no, Power Rangers is not real. Suck that. But and that's and then she basically goes, all of this was just day one. So it's letting you know this is going to be a hard, a gritty prison type book for her. And then at the very end, uh, it's just showing Barbara is in her cell, and there's something making a whole bunch of noise behind her, and then the last scene is whatever it is. It says, and then Barbara goes, no, and it says next issue. So it's good. It's a good jumping on point for a Barbara Gordon book.
All right.
Again, it gives you enough that you understand what is happening at this point in time. But if you don't have a good firm grip on everything happening in the Bat universe right now, you're not going to like it. You're going to be a little bit lost. So,
Well, considering that I'm not a big fan of the Batman universe unless it's Flashpoint Batman, it would be perfectly fine for me.
mm-hmm. Now I will admit I am a big Vandal Savage fan, so I'm looking forward to reading the rise of Commissioner Vandal Savage. But just to be quite honest with you, the whole Bruce Wayne loses his fortune, he gets his fortune back. The Batman's a vigil is an outlaw. He's not an outlaw. Blah blah blah. Is old. They can do different Batman stories, and I'm ready for something else. And again, the new thing coming up is the big Batman event, Bad Seeds. From the way it reads, it's like no man's land for any of you who remember that, minus an earthquake and with more plants. So if you like the big hits of Batman from the 90s and early 2000s, they're back in style now. So,
and the character's name was DIE, like a single die.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up and I cannot find much on said character. Yeah,
No,
just
so
yet.
I'm interested. I want to find this character now, because that alone is enough for me, because I've never heard of her. Because I remember Dula Dent, who was the original Joker's daughter. She said she was Two-Face's daughter for like an issue, but that's the only one I ever remember. But now I want to find out more about this chick.
Now
So if anyone out there knows of her, please pass it on.
Yes. Yeah, Dula Dent. That's Earth 3.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's popping up when I look up daughter of Two-Face. Okay. Oh wait, let me see. Apparently, she shows up in
Two-Face. I'm looking at a cover of Two-Face #6, and they have her on there.
Yeah, it's It's one of the all-in books. So this must be a recent thing. But yeah, I'm gonna have to track this down. I daughter supposed children of supervillains are my jam. I need to find out about this character. um, but yeah, and I'm gonna save this other one for when Missy Lane is with us because I want to see her reaction to it because it's a bit of a doozy.
So
And I
it's
have to
definitely
say,
not Earth. She's not Earth 3 Dula Dent. She got to be a different Dula Dent.
and I will have to say, I'm also getting caught up on Superman right now. We're in the arc where Superboy Prime has taken over the Guardian of Metropolis.
Hmm.
Superboy Prime is being a main character on a Superman book. It's actually kind of funny. It's a good read. I still stick by saying he does not need a redemption arc. We need a big bad that's not Darkseid, and Superboy Prime fits that bill. So we need to course correct on that. Even though it's a good series, I'm not going to say it's not. We
Like I said,
need
I'll give you Anti Monitor again. It's like Anti
yeah,
Monitor would be interesting.
anti-monitor, but look, it's my argument about Jason Todd should have stayed a villain.
Yes.
A Superman of the power level of Superboy Prime who does not have any gumption whatsoever about killing people or protecting anyone. That is a scary villain, and you can do a lot with it. But yeah, no, I love if they did more with the anti-monitor. But yeah, give me evil Superboy Prime, give me evil Jason Todd, and now apparently give me more of Two Face's daughter, and I'm good to go. But yeah, that was the one I reviewed for my review for the day.
Okay, that's going to be a review because I'm on the DC fandom page right now, and I'm looking at Two Face Volume 1.
Um,
I'm trying to see what would have been this character's first appearance. Because she's being mentioned. I know she's in issue 5 and 6 of the Two Face book here.
yeah,
Ask the character name Die.
yeah,
But
and
they
here's
haven't.
in the back in the Barbara Gordon book. This is the shot of her fighting the birds of prey. So I'm assuming again this is from a birds of prey series or something. But
Well, they could have just created that here. So that's the reason
right,
why I'm looking it up the way that I am here.
but I forgot there was a Two Face series that came out recently. I need to track that down next.
Yeah, the Two Face series came out last year.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to track that down.
So that's the reason why I'm looking into Two Face. That came out last year, 25.
Okay, all right. No, add
So
that to my list. Okay.
so issue 5 is where they notated that she is with here.
Oh,
And
and
there
talking
goes my
about
mouse again.
new characters being introduced. Again, I haven't read it because I just picked it up today, but I picked up
Uh-huh.
Batman number 12, which is the introduction of Alfred's niece or whatever, Verity
Yeah,
Pennyworth.
the other Pennyworth.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
apparently this book now is like $60 on eBay for a character that's probably not going to be around after Matt Fraction leaves the book. Uh,
that's true.
and again, I thought they brought Alfred back to life, but apparently he's still dead. So what's going on here? Can we just if Alfred's going to stay dead, can we bring him back to life as the outsider? That would be awesome. But yeah, I'll have to check this out next. But I'm I'm hit or miss on Matt Fraction. Sometimes he writes stuff and it's really good, and sometimes it's like, no, not at all. Did you bring me up on the big screen to make me say goodbye, or am I supposed to show something? Joe? I think Joe has left us. Yes, I'm here by myself. Um, I don't know what to do right now. Oh, but anyway, if anyone out there knows about more about the daughter of Two-Face, please let me know. I like obscure character villains I've never heard of. And this one fits the bill. So if you come across her, please let me know. I think we're zeroing in on her being from the Two-Face series, but I couldn't tell you. Oh, but yeah, I don't know where Joe went. So yeah, we are getting past the hour, so thank you guys for joining us. Again, sorry it was just me and Joe for you folks who wanted to see Missy Lane. She was not feeling too well. She'll be back next week. Um, and I'll be back in 2 weeks, I think, to review some more comics for you guys and complain about stuff. But thank y'all for joining us. I hope y'all have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you. Come again. Um, I'm vamping here for a minute, waiting to see what we're doing next. But uh, I don't know what to say. But yeah, as we talked about this week, Lantern Show is coming out. I think Friday or Saturday of this week. So if I have time, apparently I'm gonna have extra children in my house this weekend. So I don't know if I get a chance to watch it. Um, Joe's browser crashed. He's joining us right now. But yeah, if you get a chance to check out Lanterns, let us know what you think of it. Um, like I said, aside from Hal looking at least 112 in the previews, it looks like it might be pretty good. Kind of looks like they're doing a riff on the hard traveling heroes minus Green Arrow and Black Canary. So it might be kind of neat to watch. Again, not impressed with the scenes I've seen of Sinestro so far. They did not. It looks like they did not put a lot of time into his makeup, but we'll
Okay.
see. Oh, there's
Browser
Joe.
crashed. Yeah, browser
Mm,
crashed on me. So it's like, oh, it doesn't like to walk and chew gum at the same time. So I gotta stop looking at these for the first appearance die at this point.
um, okay. Well, I didn't know what was going on, so I already wrapped up, and then realized we're not wrapping up. So then I started talking about tell us what they think of Lanterns when it comes out. So
Oh, I'm definitely going to be watching it because that's the reason why I put it out there as the thumbnail. I'm definitely going to be watching it. I'm
mhm,
not going to have any thoughts one way or the other until after I really start watching it and form my own opinion. So
mhm,
far, I'm kind of like in favor of it, but I'm not saying that I'm looking forward to seeing it.
right. Right. So, well, like I said, folks out there, let us know what you think of it. I'm probably, I think it comes out this weekend, if I remember my dates right.
That's correct.
I'm not going to have a chance to watch it this weekend, but I'll check out before I'm on next. I'll check out the at least a couple episodes of it and tell y'all what I think of it if anyone's interested. But yeah, let us
All
know
right.
if you know more about the daughter of Two Face also, because I'm
Yeah,
going to track down some books
I'm
with
going
her.
to do my homework. We're going to find out Die. We're going to find what is her first issue that she appeared in and talk about her first appearance and everything. That's our
Yes.
homework for the week.
Yes. So thank you for joining us.
All right.
Um,
There you go.
I've already said bye to y'all, but I'll say bye again. Thanks for joining us. I will hopefully have more information. Joe and I will have more information about this character the next time you see us. And if not, we'll just make something up and tell you anyway. Have a good night.
That most likely probably happen.
All right.
And let's not forget that today's episode of Comic Book Spectrum is brought to you by Jeffrey Hayes and Plasmafire Graphics. If you need a cover for your graphic novel, your comic book, why not have an award-winning author like Jeffrey Hayes do your cover? Why? Because it catches people's attention and they come over and start asking you about your book here. And if you don't believe that, then you believe this video.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasmafire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasmafire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
Now, since you have seen the goods, why don't you give Jeffrey Hayes a message over there at plasmafiregraphics.com or his Facebook group at Plasmafire Graphics. He has very comparable rates, and it is worthwhile to get covers done by him. As far as I am concerned, I'll be back here on Saturday for an episode of From the Desk of Small Press Publisher. What we're going to talk about, I have no idea, but I guarantee you it will be fun. It will be something that is worthwhile, and maybe we might have some new comic book pickups of the week. There's nothing that came in so far this week, but it is still early. We haven't made it to Saturday as of yet, so you never know. So until next time, unlike our founder, Brian K. Morris, I don't care if you wash your hands, but never, and I do mean never, apologize for being awesome. Catch you next week right here on Thursday for another episode of Comic Book Spectrum. Good evening and have a great rest of your day.